Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Just like to call this meeting to order and Happy New Year to each and every one of you. We have an agenda before us. Is there any additions to the agenda?
Administration has no additions.
Council, gentlemen, any additions to the? Okay, seeing none, I need the adoption of the agenda. Thank you, Councillor Fadeev. I'll call for the vote. That's carried. Looking for the adoption of the minutes, regular meeting of council, December 10th, 2024. Councillor Swaggart, any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. That's carried, thank you. I guess all the way to number 8.1, subdivision applications.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Administration has received and is presenting a request for a time extension for subdivision application 2024-S-002 for council consideration, wherein the applicant is requesting a one-year time extension on conditionally approved subdivision file 2024-S-002 within agricultural quarter section Northwest 3264 west the 4th meridian. Subdivision file 2024-S-002 was conditionally approved on January 24th, 2024. Due to the landowner's busy schedule, the landowner was unable to complete the required conditions and is applying for a one-year extension. The recommended action, administration's recommended action is that council approves the request for a one-year time extension on conditionally approved subdivision file 2024-S-002 for Albert Rondo.
Thank you. Councillor Crick.
Yeah, I'll move that we approve the time extension.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Crick, for making the motion that council approves the request for a one-year time extension on conditional approval subdivision application number 2024-S-002 for Albert Rondo. Any discussion? Councillor Fadeev.
Just a question in regards to how many times can they ask for an extension? Is there a number, or is it just?
As per the MGA, they're allowed to ask for a one-year extension. As per the land use bylaw, if necessary for constraints that are beyond our control, such as Water Act approval or those sorts of things, the land use bylaw does allow us to allow them to apply for a second or an extended from the 1 year.
So they can ask once, and then there's any kind of hiccups, they can ask for another one?
As long as the hiccups are something that's not within the applicant's control.
Correct, okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to call for the vote. Thank you, that's carried. On to 8.2.
Administration has received and is presenting subdivision application number 2024-S-017 for council consideration, wherein the applicant is proposing to consolidate existing Lot 1 PUL and a complete boundary realignment within Plan 9825079, Block 5, Lot 2, as shown on the map attached as Appendix A. That was a mouthful. Notification of the proposed subdivision was submitted to referral agencies and adjacent landowners with a deadline of December 15th, 2024 to submit concerns to be considered at the January 14th, 2025 council meeting. No concerns have been received regarding this application. Council approved the sale and consolidation of the public utility lot, PUL, at the September 12th, 2023 council meeting. Administration's recommended action is that council approves the subdivision application number 2024-S-017 to consolidate existing Lot 11 PUL and complete a boundary realignment within Plan 9825079 5079, Block 5, Lot 2, for Ceta Geomatics, Inc., on behalf of Alan Ashufka and Joel Ashufka, as per the following conditions. The owner-developer install internal roads, approaches, and including culverts. The owner-developer register a utility easement right-of-way. That the developer construct an underground drainage system as per the requirements and specifications of the Alberta Water Act approval. The owner-developer purchase the dedicated lot PUL 11 at fair market value from the MD of Bonnyville as per council direction given September 12th, 2023, and furthermore be consolidated into proposed lot described as Lot 2B. The developer obtain applicable permits for any development within the existing plan 9824090, Lot 1ER, prior to registration of the proposed parcels. Real property report, the septic and sewage disposal is to comply with the Alberta Safety Codes Act and the Province of Alberta Public Health Act, and that all outstanding property taxes be paid.
Thank you. Go ahead, Deputy Reeve.
Yeah, just make the motion to approve this.
Okay, thank you, Deputy Reeve Scarson, for making this motion that council approve subdivision application number 2024S017 to consolidate existing lot 11 PUL and complete a boundary realignment with plan 9825079, Block 5, Lot 2 for Ceta Geomatics, Inc. on behalf of Alan and Joel Ashufka as per the following conditions 1 through 8 before you. Any discussion on this motion, gentlemen? Yes, Councillor Swaggart.
Yes, sorry, I'm just trying to understand with your drawing there, which one was, it's a public utility lot that they're going to combine with their existing lot was, because the diagram there kind of just points to the middle of, doesn't point to a, I assume the yellow line is it, but is
I think it's from the yellow to the right.
it from the
Okay,
yellow to?
through the Reeve to Councillor Swaggart, the double red line that is through there is currently the public utility lot. So there's a public utility lot separating the two residential lots.
Okay.
What has happened is council has previously approved the closure of that PUL lot, and then the boundary realignment would be to move the east lot west to the yellow line.
East lot, okay. Yeah, thanks.
So this would be gone.
So this is gone, this should be one. Okay, appreciate that, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. That's carried, thank you.
Thank you.
On to 9.1, notice of motion. Councillor Swaggart.
Thank you, Mr. Reeve. So I'll just read notice of motion, and I'll just maybe check with Stephanie too. So I'll read the notice of motion, and then I think we need a seconder to proceed, or we don't? Okay.
Just for clarity, we will need a seconder for the actual motion when council deliberates it at the next meeting.
Okay, so I'll just read through this quick then, it's not a long one. To create a policy for addressing public requests to name municipal roads. Whereas some municipalities accept requests to apply a specific name or designation to a municipal road under certain criteria. Whereas requests have been received by local residents to name municipal roads or sections of municipal roads within the MD of Bonnyville. Whereas council may wish to consider such requests from the public in recognition of community members' contributions or municipal history, heritage, and or culture. And now therefore be resolved that administration be directed to draft a new policy addressing public requests to apply a name or designation to a municipal road and bring it back to a future regular meeting of council for consideration. And appreciate your thoughts, and we'll bring this back. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Moving to 9.2.1, Planning and Community Services.
Good morning.
Morning.
While reviewing historic MD bylaws, administration discovered some active bylaws that should have been repealed. As such, administration has prepared a bylaw to repeal these historic bylaws that are no longer applicable, and/or relevant. The bylaws that are proposed to be repealed are through bylaw number 1873, are bylaw LU 101, LU 102, and LU 103. Bylaw 1873 was given first reading at the September 10th, 2024 council meeting, and a public hearing was held on December 10th, 2024, with no correspondence received and no interested parties in attendance. Attached for council's review as Appendix A is the repealing bylaw, and the bylaws to be repealed, LU 101, 102, and 103, are attached as Appendix B. So administration is recommending that bylaw 1873 be given second reading, and furthermore, if passed, to proceed to third reading.
Thank you. Yes, Councillor Swaggart? Just press your button.
Next week, I'll just make a motion to go to second reading.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Swaggart, for making this motion to go to second reading. Any discussion? Okay, I'm seeing none. There's a motion that Councillor Swaggart, that bylaw number 1873 being a bylaw of the municipal district of Bonneville number 87 to repeal bylaws are no longer applicable and/or relevant to municipal operations to be given second reading. Any discussion on this? Okay, I'm seeing none. I'll call for the vote. Sorry, I'm a little rusty. Okay, that's carried. Thank you. Looking for a third reading? Sorry? Okay, thank you, Councillor Slipchuk, for making this motion that bylaw number 1873 be given third reading. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. That's carried, thank you. On to bylaw number 1889. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Sorry, Councillor Fideo, I didn't see you there. Go ahead. 1 second.
Just for
Go ahead.
administration, on the second reading, that said there were 6, there's 1 absent, and I just want to make sure that was corrected.
That was me. I was not here for the first reading.
Oh,
Yeah,
gotcha.
Darcy's not
Okay.
allowed to vote on both of them.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay. Sorry, I should have said that before we started, my fault. Go ahead, on to, I think, 1889, correct?
Yeah, administration is seeking approval for roadway license bylaw number 1889, authorizing the MD of Bonneville into an agreement to license the road allowance west of the northwest of 1361 of 5, in accordance with policy number 3A.018, as shown on the map on Appendix A. This is a renewal of an existing roadway licensing bylaw 1789, and the purpose of the roadway licensing is for agricultural use between parcels separated by the undeveloped road allowance. The revised wording of bylaw number 1889 allows that should the applicant wish to renew again upon expiry of this new 3-year term, if approved, renewals would be executed directly by administration. A copy of this roadway license agreement application was provided to internal departments for review and recommendation prior to council presentation of the first roadway license bylaw 1789 with no concerns. So administration is recommending that council give first reading.
Thank you, Councillor Crick.
Yeah, I'll move first reading. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Crick, for making this motion that bylaw number 1889 being a bylaw of the municipal district of Bonneville number 87 roadways licensing be given first reading. Any discussion on this, gentlemen? Okay, I'm seeing none. I'll call for the vote. That's carried. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
On to 9.2.3, bylaw number LU 581.
Administration is presenting bylaw LU 851, which repeals and replaces bylaw LU 579 to correct the Alberta Township System ATS location reference for second reading. The amendment will correct the ATS associated with the given Lot 1 Plan 8620814 to Southeast 1662-1 west the 4th Meridian as per the Alberta Land Title. Bylaw number LU 581, replacing bylaw LU 579, rezoning application, was presented to council and given first reading at the November 12th, 2024 regular meeting of council, and public hearing was held December 10th, 2024. No concerns were received during the public notification process, and no members of the public were present at the public hearing held on December 10th. The current area of Lot 1, Block 1, Plan 8620814, is approximately 4.99 acres. The subject parcel is to be rezoned from Hamlet Single Family Residential District, HR1, to Hamlet General District, HG. To make the necessary correction, the new bylaw, which repeals and replaces the current bylaw, must receive 3 readings. First, a public hearing, and second and third reading. Bylaw LU 579 will be rescinded concurrent with a third reading for bylaw LU 581. Administration's recommended action is that bylaw LU 581, being a bylaw of the Municipal District of Bonnyville, number 87, be amended to bylaw number 1667, land use bylaw, be given second reading.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Fadeev, then Counselor Swigert.
Thanks. I'll make the motion for second reading.
Okay. Thank you, Counselor Fadeev, for making this motion that bylaw number LU 581, being a bylaw of the Municipal District of Bonnyville, number 87, to amend bylaw number 1667, land use bylaw, be given second reading. Any discussion? Counselor Swigert?
Yes, Mr. So just for my interest there, is that where the church was in that lot? In Cherry Grove, is that?
Through the Reeve, correct. This is the church lot. When we did the original bylaw, the ATS was noted wrong. It was not noted as the southeast 1662-1, west of the 4th meridian, as per the land title. This amendment is to correct that number on the land title.
And then also rezone it to Hamlet General?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion, gentlemen? Okay, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. That's carried. Counselor Crick?
Yeah, I'll move third reading.
Okay, thank you, Counselor Crick, for making this motion that bylaw number LU 581 be given third reading. Any discussion on this? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Okay, that's carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
On to 9.3, corporate services.
Good morning, Mr. Reeve and Council.
Good morning.
So the first report is to present an amendment to master rates bylaw and update Schedule A, master rates and fees schedule for council's approval. The following amendments have been made and are included in the attached bylaw 1891 draft. There's been changes to planning and development section. We've changed contractor and solar electrical fees to contractor electrical fees. And we've added a solar photovoltaic systems fee schedule as added. And in addition, we've adjusted the water and sewer rates as per budget deliberations, and we've increased them from water rates from 377 to 427 per cubic meter, and sewer consumption rate from 113 to 123 per cubic meter. We've also increased the premises services for water only, and we've attached for council's review Appendix A bylaw number 1891 master rates bylaw, as well as the proposed changes to the fee schedule. It does align with council's strategic plan, building a viable and diversified regional economy. It is consistent with Municipal Government Act Section 8, 1C1, and there is no cost implication associated with this recommendation. The bylaw will be posted on the MD's website if approved. So at this time, administration is requesting that bylaw number 1891, being a bylaw of the Municipal District of Bonnyville, number 87, to amend the master rates bylaw, be given first reading.
Thank you. Counselor Swigert.
Thanks for that, Mr. Reeve. This is, it's kind of a technical question, but just, I guess maybe for my own interest, the electric photovoltaic system, so the solar systems, the sizing goes from 0 to a maximum of 30.9 kilowatts. Is 30.9, I'm just wondering, is that the maximum anybody can have commercially or residentially? Do we know that?
I'll ask my colleague to speak to that technical question.
I'm not sure I can answer your technical question, but on September 17th, when we did present this to council, we did have the expert here to answer your questions.
Did he do that one?
Remember if you
Maybe he
asked
did.
that question or not?
No, I just want to make
Okay.
sure that we're covering off the, you know, if somebody says, I want a 50 kilowatt system, and we say, well, you can't have one.
Yeah, I know when this was presented to council, there was some questions asked of the inspector
Yeah.
at that time, and I believe everything was answered to
But
satisfaction.
if that, so you guys must ask them that, otherwise you wouldn't have just put in that, they're
Right.
not random numbers, right? So,
Yes, correct. These are his recommendations.
okay, no, appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Anybody like to make a motion and any other discussion?
That's first reading.
Yep, that's first reading. Okay. Thank you, Councillor Kraviak, for making this motion, that bylaw number 1891 being a bylaw of the Municipal District of Bonnyville, number 87, to amend the master rates bylaw, be given first reading. Any discussion on this motion? Okay, I'm seeing none. I'll call for the vote.
Mr. Reeve?
Yes, go ahead.
It's not a, I'm just getting an e-scribe meeting, your token has expired, please log in again, so I'm just surprised
Just-
halfway through.
Yeah, raise your hand. You're for it, okay?
Anyway, it'll take me a minute to log back in, I guess is my point.
It's okay. All right, that was carried. On to 9.3.2.
Thank you, Mr. Reeve. This report is related to the Clayton Bellamy Foundation for the Arts Loan Guarantor request. At the November 12th, 2024 regular meeting of council, Clayton Bellamy, President, and Lise Fielding, Vice President for the Clayton Bellamy Foundation for the Arts, attended as a delegation to request council establish a financial guarantee for a loan through Lakeland Credit Union in the amount of $850,000 for the completion of construction of the Strathcona Performing Arts Theatre. On November 26th, council approved the following motion. Council referred the foundation request for funding support back to administration to request additional information from the foundation as follows: any other debts, and if so, the repayment requirements, a copy of the theatre's business plan, the anticipated operational start date, the theatre's projected revenue and expenditure for 2025 and 2026, and the funding amount requested from the pending CFEP grant and when it will be received, if approved. Furthermore, council directed administration to draft a bylaw authorizing the guarantee of repayment for a loan to a maximum value of $850,000 as requested by the Clayton Bellamy Foundation for the Arts, and bring it back to a future meeting of council with the additional information requested for consideration. The foundation is a nonprofit organization focused on keeping the arts alive and available to all of the Lakeland, with a venue to showcase arts-based performances in a professional theater setting, with a state-of-the-art acoustics that can accommodate all types of performances. At this time, there are no other debts incurred or contemplated by the foundation beyond this bridge financing request. of $1.15 million through the Lakeland Credit Union. Northern Lights School Division has been asked to guarantee $300,000, and the MD is being asked to guarantee $850,000 of this bridge financing loan. The foundation has applied for a $500,000 Community Facility Enhancement Program, or CFAP grant, which will be used to pay down this bridge financing loan should the application be approved in December 2024 or early 2025. As of late last week, no notification of that grant approval had yet been received. The foundation currently shows equipment assets net book value is $39,108 and leasehold improvements of $716,886. Leasehold improvements remain with the building should the tenant terminate the lease. The foundation's operational start date is targeted for February 1st, 2025. Administration has conducted an analysis of all documents provided by the foundation and have accessed legal advice to determine the exposure of risk and implications to the MD should council wish to move forward with the loan guarantee bylaw. These risks and implications are outlined below. The loan guarantee reduces the MD's borrowing capacity. And two, in the event the foundation is unable to meet its debt obligations with LCU, the MD would be responsible to pay a maximum of $850,000. The foundation leases the theater from Northern Lights School Division and does not own assets equivalent to the amount of the requested loan guarantee. This would be considered an unsecured loan. Number four, at the time of writing this report, there was no assurance that the CFIP grant will be received, and details of the bridge financing loan with LCU is not confirmed. And again, I did check last week, and there has been no confirmation of this grant funding. Number five, there's no proven track record of success with this endeavor and no assurance that the foundation will remain a going concern. And six, the theater is not within the MD jurisdiction. The references to legislation is in the Municipal Government Act, Loans and Guarantees, Section 264, and the Guarantee Bylaw, Section 266. This proposal may have no financial impact on the MD, however, does have the potential of creating an obligation to a maximum of $850,000. No funding source has yet been determined. This report will be posted on the MD's website under the council agenda for January 14th. And the administration's recommended action is that council accepts the Clayton Bellamy Foundation for the Arts loan guarantor request as information.
Thank you. Councillor Swigert, then Councillor Crick.
When we talked about this a couple of weeks ago or before Christmas, we were asking that somebody should reach out to the Northern Lights School Division superintendent or board or whatever and have kind of that discussion, about the sort of position it puts us in the town in. And I'm just wondering if anybody actually reached out to Northern Lights at all and had any kind of discussions about carrying it forward. We have lots of recreation in the area. There's lots of hockey. There's lots of things sports-wise for kids. There's nothing for fine arts. So I'm still in favor of kind of trying to proceed with something like this. But so yeah, I'll ask again. Did anybody actually reach out to Northern Lights at all? Because I don't think we have any more information now than we did then.
Through the Reeve, the onus would have been on the Clayton Bellamy Foundation to reach out to Northern Lights School Division, and to my knowledge, I do not know whether they did that or not.
That was sort of I think my question, though. well, I'm sure, not sure if it was just me that said that admin should reach out to Northern Lights and have some kind of discussion, so I'm not really sure if it's just their onus, because I think I'd asked for it, but.
Well, did I say that I was gonna reach out? I don't remember. I remember saying I was gonna do something before Christmas, but I don't think it was that, but.
Because I think admin was supposed to do that, but.
I don't remember us having that.
Yeah, through the Reeve, our recollection, we didn't have it on our list to do, to reach out to the Northern Lights.
Okay. Yeah, John, Counselor Crick?
Yeah, I think in regards to the last comment there, it's up to the foundation can reach out to the Northern Lights School Division, and I think we were just thinking that it's in the school and it's in the town, so it would be more appropriate for the school division to guarantee that since they own the building. So I'll make the motion that we accept as information.
You're doing what?
I'll make the motion to, as recommended, to accept as information.
Sorry, my computer just went. Okay, so Counselor Crick has made a motion that council accepts the Clayton Bellamy Foundation for the Arts Loan Guarantor request as information. Any discussion on this?
Yeah, Mr. Reed.
Counselor Kraviak.
Yeah, thank you very much. If anyone should guarantee this loan, it should be Northern Lights Public Schools. All the infrastructure belongs to them after, so that's my comment. Thank you.
I have a question. If we don't guarantee this, what happens?
Through the Reeve, my suggestion to Clayton Bellamy Foundation would be to continue either negotiating with Northern Lights School Division or the town, or seek other sponsorship.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. That's carried.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Let's take a 5-minute break. Okay, welcome back. We're going to continue this meeting on 9.4, and we're going to 9.4 Bridge Status Report Update. Thank you.
Morning, Council.
Morning.
I have an RFD for the Bridge Status Report Update. On March 14, 2023, regular meeting of Council, Infrastructure Services presented the State of the Infrastructure Report Bridges to Council as information. During that discussion, Council asked administration to investigate the feasibility of closing some bridges in an effort to reduce the future capital required to replace the aging infrastructure. A report was presented to Council on September 19, 2023, outlining the state of 56 bridges that are due for replacement within the next 10 years. The report highlighted status and functionality of the bridge. It also recommended what bridges should remain open and ones that were less critical for municipal operations. Council's decision after the September 19th meeting was to bring the report back to the 2024 budget deliberations. Administration discussed bridge repair and replacement with Council at that time. However, there was no direction from Council as to how to proceed with the findings of the report. Attached as Appendix A is the Bridge Status Report presented to Council at the September 19, 2023 regular meeting of Council. Recently, Bridge File 72749, located on Township Road 623, east of Range Road 431, had a weight restriction imposed after an inspection of the structure was conducted by WSP Engineering. This inspection concluded that the bridge was not structurally sound to carry full weights as was for previous purposes, recommended to be reduced to a 3-ton maximum weight capacity by the contracted bridge engineering firm. See Appendix B for the consultant's recommendation. The consultant recommendation for a 3-ton restriction was only for 1 year, as they felt after that time the bridge would be beyond its useful life and would likely be unsafe for travel beyond the 1 year. After the restriction was imposed, administration received a call from a resident expressing his concern over the restriction and the bridge being closed if not replaced. Administration just recently received a letter as well as signatures from residents opposed to the bridge not being replaced. See, the letter is attached as Appendix C. This bridge was identified as a replacement project in the 2023 budget with engineering funds allotted to the project. However, was postponed as per Council's decision during the 2024 budget deliberations. As administration had no direction to add this bridge replacement to the 2025 budget, this project was omitted from the 2025 capital budget. The reference to the strategic plan is goal number 2, enhance safety in the community. The objective is transportation infrastructure network safety. Reference to political or provincial legislation is in the MGA, sections 1, 16, 18, 532, and 532. Costs and sources of funding for Bridge File 72749. Engineering costs of $130,000 have been approved in the 2023 budget, and that has been carried over. Construction costs are not budgeted in 2025. The approximate cost is about $1.7 million, potential funding to come from the bridge reserves. Communication would be via the MD website and public notification if required by legislation. And it's administration's recommended action that Council approve the closure of Bridge File 72749 to be completed by December 31, 2025. And this recommendation is made as per Council's direction during budget deliberations and discussion of the Bridge File report.
Thank you. Go ahead. Deputy Reeve Scarson, then Councillor Fadeev.
I just have a quick question about our in-house capabilities. Can we do any bridges on our own? Like, do we have any capabilities to repair any bridges? replace any bridges?
Through the Reeve, we do minor repair on bridges, bridge decks, if the deck has to be replaced, we'll replace some boards, like that kind of thing. Anything more than that, we would have to get an engineering recommendation on what to do, as it is a structure that, you know, we don't want to take the liability of fixing something that, that has to be fixed to a better standard or to a different spec than we know of. We don't have the in-house capability of doing that engineering in-house.
Like what, like even like the big culvert bridges and stuff, like you don't do any of those at all?
Through the Reeve, no, even for culverts, those are all, because they're, the bridge files are specific, they're not just a regular culvert anymore. Bridge files are specific, they have specific recommendations and requirements through provincial legislation, mostly for Water Act, that kind of thing, and fisheries. They're all engineered. We're not the only municipality, all other municipalities, even if they do the work on their own, the bridge file is engineered, and with that comes the blueprints, the drawings, the design of the replacement, repair, that kind of thing.
And then you said you had, we had budgeted $130,000 in 2023 to engineer this. Did we engineer it then, or?
Through the Reeve, no, we did not, because we brought that back during this report in 2023 to say that these are some recommendations for closures, and that was one of them. And at that time, the discussion was, let's hold off until budget deliberations, so that we didn't, if it was a bridge that we were looking at closing, we didn't want to spend $130,000 on engineering just to have it closed. So we've been holding off on that. We've carried that forward to get further direction from council on how they wish to proceed on this and other bridges, as bridges are a level of service that council decides on, you know, which ones to repair, replace. As it is, administration is indifferent to which ones are replaced. We're just giving you the information that you guys have asked for.
And that's just based on traffic counts, is that it, or?
Through the Reeve, yes. So the report was pretty comprehensive in determining different routes for people to travel, placing a value on that travel, and then determining how that cost compares to what the life cycle replacement cost of that structure would be.
Okay, thank you. On to Councillor Fadeev.
Hi, thanks. Yeah, with it being over Muriel Creek, is there any provincial or federal implications in regards to the creek? Do they still recognize it as, I know there's some creeks, there are some sloughs out there that are considered fish bearing. Is there any issues with that? And then I just have another question after that.
Through the Reeve, yes, there are. To Councillor Fadeev, they do. Muriel Creek is a water body, fish bearing. As far as I recall, we do have to work within the fisheries regulations as well. So it is one of the higher end replacements that we would have to do.
So at your estimated cost of engineering of $130,000, I presume then the cost of replacement would be anywhere from 1.3 to 1.5 million?
Through the Reeve, 2 years ago when we presented this, it was a $1.5 million estimation of repair. That was 2 years ago. For the purpose of this report, I added another 200,000 onto it because of inflation, not knowing what the steel costs are going to be, all that sort of stuff. I just estimated it at 1.7.
Thanks. Yeah, one of my big concerns are just the movement of buses and everything else onto Highway 28, even with the roundabout that would cause the closure of this. You're pretty well doubling, I guess, the safety concerns of the bus going from the Range Road onto the highway, slowing down, going down a mile, and then turning back into it. And it seems like every time the the buses are running. It's rush hour as well on that road, and it's busy. There's supposed to be twinning going on. I don't know where we're going to see that. I know there's been a statement by the province that they're going to do some I guess some turning lanes and everything else, but I don't know if that's anything to our area. Do you know anything on that status at all? No?
Through the Reeve, no. I have no information on what the province is planning for
Thanks. Yeah, just because I know there, everybody thinks it's over here, but I think it's all the bypasses we've seen kind of by Wassetna. That's Highway 28. There's an intersection on Highway 37 and 28. So I think I haven't seen any kind of stakes going up here. And I know there's a promise out there that we're going to see this in 2025. I don't see any red flags anywhere going around, or even orange ones for staking or anything like that. So I'd like to see what the province has to that. So yeah, my concerns are that part of it, and we have quite a few signatures and all that. So I'm in favor of putting this back on.
Okay, thank you. On to Councillor Swigert.
Mr. Spelko, Councillor Scarson asked about what work we can do, and I'm not sure if you actually answered the question though, but I'll just ask so I can clarify. We could hire an engineering company to design the replacement, but are you saying we can't do any of the work ourselves, or we could? I mean, we used to do a lot of culvert work and stuff. I don't see us doing that anymore either. But and I guess on top of that, there's a lot of culvert bridges, and could that be replaced with a culvert bridge at a lower cost, or I guess maybe look into that?
Through the Reeve, I don't know if it can be replaced as a culvert bridge. I would, engineers would have to do that to determine whether it could be or not. The amount of water that flows through there, that would be a engineering question, something that I'm not prepared to answer, nor do I have the skill to answer that one. To the other question
is it worth asking? Like, is it worth asking though? Do you think would a culvert bridge be cheaper? I guess that's my point.
When we, through the Reeve to Councillor Swigert, when we do engage the consultants and the engineering firms to design this, they look at all options, whether a span bridge is what we need, or if a bridge file culvert would be suitable for it. So at that time, I'm sure that they would be the ones that would determine the most feasible and practical solution for this crossing. That could be a culvert, and it could be a span bridge, but at this point, I don't know. And then to your other question of can we do this work ourselves, because bridge work is kind of a specialty thing, especially if you're replacing the bridge itself. We would likely not be doing it ourselves. We'd be contracting that out.
Mr. Just one more comment. And Councillor Fay was talking about Highway 28 work, and I sit on the Municore group, and there is discussion. So the province sent Municore a bunch of kind of diagrams and maps of the road work for Highway 28 around Wassetna and around in that area, Ashmont, and I'm a little concerned because they're actually closing off some of the access to Highway 28. So, I mean, it's possible when they start twinning, if they do, we might even lose some of those accesses, to the highway anyway. So, anyway, I guess we don't have a lot of information, but I'm not willing to have that bridge closed. So, anyway.
Okay, thank you. On to Councillor Kraviak.
Thank you, Reeve Kolinsky. Yeah, I can't support the closing of this bridge. There's over 100 people who want this bridge to remain open. And if it is closed, some of the people will have to use Highway 28. And with the construction there, it's going to cause a big issue as well. So we have to support the replacement of this bridge. And there's no doubt in my mind. Thank you.
Deputy Reeve Scarson, then Councillor Fadeev.
Brian, I'm just looking for, I didn't see it on a legend anywhere, but, so you got some blue roads, some red, some gray. Can you tell me the difference with all the road colorings?
Which specifically one are you looking at?
Well, I'm just looking at some of the maps on this one's map B in front of me right now, but. It's page 125 on my thing.
Map B, okay. So, looking at map B, the red roads would be gravel roads. The blue ones are going to be, probably the oiled roads.
Oh, it's in there.
So is that what you're looking at?
Yeah, I figured
Okay.
it might be something to do with that, so it looks like
Yep.
it's oiled on one side and then gravelled on the other.
A.
Then you have some gray roads in there too.
Okay. The gray roads, I believe are paved roads, like, hot mix? I believe so. I'm just looking at this, map to see which roads are gray, unless my eyes are failing me.
Yeah, there's not a lot of them, but
Yeah.
it's mostly the blue and
Yeah,
like 630 is a lot of it is gray, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the highway road, right?
correct.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was just curious. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Counselor Fadeev, then Counselor Slipchuk.
Yeah, thanks. Like in regards to engineering, these roads were engineered years ago, and obviously, even with their expertise, they still missed out a lot of things that were unforeseen, like size of like farming equipment now, right? It's not a 3-ton or a 5-ton truck anymore. So I think if we're going to do this right, we have to do this like a proper engineering on it. And if we're going to spend the money, let's spend it
I don't think,
50 or 60 years, right?
yeah, I think you can't do improper engineering on it.
So that's kind of what, we've been kind of asking here, but I think it's got to get done right, especially with the creek being there. And, yeah, so that's.
Thank you. Counselor Slipchuk?
Yeah, my question is like it says, traffic count was done March 29th to April 3rd. That's what, 5 days? Isn't there like a lot less traffic in the spring versus like summertime when the farmers are using it more and then you got tourists are coming through, driving around? And wouldn't that traffic count change substantially at a different time? of the season?
Through the Reeve, yeah, you're not wrong. We could put a traffic counter there for the whole year and take an average, but at that time, we just took a snapshot. And again, this report is based on a snapshot that we took at that time.
Yeah, I think those numbers would change drastically, and also I believe like with all the extra industry activity around here, the numbers would be even added higher to that, but that's just my comment on this, like.
Okay, thank you. On to Counselor, Deputy Reeve Scarson.
So Brian, this bridge is fine though until the end of 2025, right?
Through the Reeve, that is what the engineers recommended, is that we reduce it to 3-ton and then move for closure by the end of the year.
So if you did the engineering report this year, it could be put on next year's budget?
Sure, absolutely. And there are some recommendations that we had, like other council options on there. One of them is to proceed with engineering right now and then look at at funding it at the 2026 budget deliberations.
Yeah.
That's an
I'll go ahead and
option
make
as
that
well.
motion, so.
Which motion you're making?
To engineer it this year with the funds that are carried forward from 2023 and then bring it to next year's budget.
Okay, while we're waiting, we'll do the motion, then we can have discussion.
And Mr. Eve, if I may.
Yes.
This report, I'll just remind council that this report was given or brought to council just because at the, for the next 10 years, we were looking at a $90 million bridge replacement cost. And at that time, council just said, hey, is there something that we can do to lower that cost? We lowered it down to approximately, 60 million over the next 10 years, but that included some of these closures. If we're not going to close bridges going forward, and that, again, that's a level of service discussion that council determines, then it might go back up to the 90 million over the next 10 years of bridge infrastructure replacement.
Yeah, good point. There is some bridges in the MD that go every mile though, so if you have 5 miles in a row and every bridge every mile, well then you gotta do something about it, but this is a kind of a unique bridge, I think.
And that's fair enough. And again, I'm standing before you.
But it's not you guys' fault.
Yeah, saying that like we're indifferent to whether you want this bridge fixed or not. I can make a call in 5 minutes to say start engineering.
Yeah.
So it's whatever level of service the council decides, and we're just bringing this recommendation back as per the direction of council.
Okay, we're gonna do this motion, then we'll have discussion. All right, thank you, Deputy Reeves Carson, for making this motion that council directs administration to proceed with the engineering for replacement of bridge file 72749 at a cost of $130,000 to be funded from the 2025 capital budget to bring the replacement of bridge file 72749 to the 2026 budget deliberations for consideration. Discussion, we'll start with Councillor Fadeev.
Hi, thanks. I'm in favor of the motion, but I just like to just get it done with at one point. Just option number 2 at the 1.7, we do have a bridge fund, and I'm afraid that the next year or two kick us down the road, it's going to cost us another 100 or 200 grand of costs that are going to go up. So I'm just in favor of just getting it done. That's why we have a bridge replacement file, and
Okay, thank you for that. Councillor Swigert is.
Thanks, Mr. Reed. So, same comments we have. I'm concerned if we don't get this done right away, and it's January.
I thought I put you on, sorry, go ahead.
Maybe I turned it off. Sorry, I just said I'm concerned also that if we don't get it done right away, it's January still. Like Mr. Vespelko said, there's lots of time to get it done. If we postpone it, who knows what happens in a year? Prices do go up. We have money already put aside, for construction. I'd rather just see us get it done.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Kraviak.
Thank you, Kolinski. So if this bridge isn't replaced this year, will that road be closed after December?
Through the Reeve, that is a possibility if the construction hasn't completed by the end of the year. And I don't know how long engineering is going to take for this bridge file. It could be a year-long process for engineering and getting the proper approvals. So, I mean, that's why it was on the list in 2023 to hopefully get done already, but by pushing it forward, we ran up against the clock here now. And, I mean, we could always try to get it assessed at the end of the year to see if we can get another, extend the timeline of it, but that's no guarantee, according to what the consultants told us based on this last inspection.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm not in favor of this motion because I think this bridge should be replaced this year, like Councilor Schweigert said. So I'll be voting against this motion because I'm in support of motion 2 to try to get this done this year if possible. Otherwise, what are the farmers going to do in the springtime, So that's my comment. Thank you.
They wouldn't be able to do anything
They
anyway.
ain't doing it anyways.
Well, again, there's no guarantee that it would get done this year, depending on what engineering does, but the ball would be rolling.
But it may be done, though.
I can't speculate of whether it would get done or not. Again, I don't know what engineering and what the process for, well, I know the process, but I don't know what kind of timeline we're looking at for gathering approvals for this stuff. It could be 3 months, it could be 6 months, it could be a year for approvals. I don't know.
Yeah, but at least there's a chance it'll be done.
Fair enough.
So that's what I'm saying.
Okay, Counselor Sipchick?
Yeah, I just want to say, like you were saying, they could get it done this year. I know that we had the culvert replacement on Range Road, Township Road 630 there. And I think that took you guys over 2 years to get approval for it.
Through the Reeve, that's,
culvert.
you're not far off. Yep, it's, and that was a culvert replacement. So again, there's no guarantees that it would get done in a year, but at least the ball would be rolling if that's the direction that council chooses.
Counselor Counselor Swigert, then Counselor Fideo, then Deputy Reeve Scarson.
Yeah, again, I'll just say, if we do nothing this year and put it off, that bridge is closed. It's a 3-ton bridge. That's like farmers, 3 ton is nothing. So they won't be able to use it at all, basically. Like, you know, so let's not keep putting it off. Because they won't use it this year. They can't at 3 ton. I think most farm trucks are probably that weight empty.
Counselor Fideo?
Yeah, in regards to it being a fish-bearing creek and everything else, what are the chances of getting some funding from another stream versus your typical bridge file? Maybe Mr. Lowen's, ministry might be able to help us out with that one instead and go with the 50% funding, because it is a...
Through the Reeve, funding would likely only be through the STIP funding, through the bridges. The bridges branch of the STIP funding. We're looking into that for other bridges as well. The Truman Bridge is going to be coming to the Committee of the Whole here in a couple of weeks, so we might be looking at that as well. But when we talked to them, when we talked to the government about funding for bridges, that's just where they sent us. They said, well, you can apply for STIP for that. So I would suspect that this is going to be the same. We're going to get the same response from them if we ask about this one as well.
Yeah, and then correct me if I'm wrong, didn't we get some help from, like Mr. Lowen's office last year, year before, on a bridge in the Wolf Lake Iron River area?
Through the chair, I
You don't know? Okay.
don't think so. We had grant funding, but I believe that was through the STIP grant. That was just through the STIP grant.
Yeah, at seeing the infrastructure levels at, $2 and $3 billion of lacking for infrastructure for the province, it's going to be tough to see that go. You're right, for sure. So, yeah, they need to open up their purse strings a little more. Thank you.
Deputy Reeve Scarson?
I think that the motion that is placed forward has some realistic timelines. I'd be absolutely amazed if we could get a bridge rebuilt there by spring of 2025. I would be completely shocked. And if it so happens that somehow you can get the engineering report done by fall, it could come back to council, and there's a reserve fund there that could be used to build or start construction on a bridge. But even if it was in your hands by fall, you're probably not getting anything started on there before the next year anyways, right? So I'm just being realistic. So I mean, it's there, and we have options to build sooner. I think it's going to be a lot easier to get that extended for 6 months, let's say, into the 2026 year, as far as what is allowed on there. And so I mean, it's there. We didn't do it when we were going to, but we can do it now and move forward. So.
Thank you. Counselor Swigert?
Thanks, Mr. Reeve. I think this might be a question for Susan, but there was something published on the MD website recently about an $11 million grant that we received, and we directed, I think, $6 million to bridges and $5 million to roads. But I'd like to know what was that grant and who provided that? Because we always say the province isn't helping with bridges and whatever, but we did put a bunch of that money into bridges. So what was that funding?
Through the Reeve, I believe that was LGFF funding, and we allocated it through our capital plan, the approved capital projects that council debated during budget deliberations and approved. I believe that's the, it was either LGFF or CCB.
What would CCB be? I know what LGFF is, but
But between those two grant programs, that's how we funded our capital plan. So that money was allocated, and it was provided not specifically for bridges, but we identified bridges as a need. And so council approved that already.
okay, so was it LGFF? Because I'm just curious now, because I'm asking though, does the province actually, are they still helping fund bridges specifically, or are you saying absolutely no?
Through the REEV. Those grant programs are based on, they're provided to each municipality, not for a specific category of asset. And so it's the municipality that can determine what the greatest need is. And
No,
so,
I understand that. So can you actually verify though that it was just LGFF?
yeah, I don't have
Okay,
my capital
thanks.
plan with me today,
Thank you. No, that's fine.
but I can send an email. I'll send an email after the meeting is over.
Thank you. Council, sorry, go ahead.
I think I know what Councillor Swigert is talking about. About 15 years ago, there was specific bridge funding. They don't have that any longer. They moved that into, like I said previously, the STIP grant. The STIP funding has a branch for bridges itself. So you can apply for a bridge under STIP, but STIP is the only bridge funding that the government puts out right now. But I do know what you're talking about, and about 15, my memory might be going, but about 15 years ago, the government pulled that funding and lumped it all together into a STIP fund.
Okay, thank you. On to Councillor Crick. I guess I better turn you on there.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
I think the funding that Councillor Fadeev was referring to for the bridge up by Wolf Lake area, that was for a fish ladder system. That was to help the fish go up and down the creek there by that bridge. And there was also comments made here about the province having a huge bridge deficit of $3 billion or something. It's interesting that Alberta is still sending equalization money east in Canada, and our province doesn't have enough money to take care of our own bridges. So that's all my comments are.
Thank you. Councillor Slipchuk?
Yeah, like Councillor Swigert mentioned about kicking the can down the road, not like taking prolonging this. But I think we did that back in 2023 when we didn't really look into this better, and we should have did better due diligence on it. So I think we bear responsibility for being at this point now, because we should have looked into it more back in 2023 and these issues. And going further with other bridges, I think we should make sure we find out what's going on with them, when they're going to have to be done, and notify the public what needs, and see where we go, and not wait till we get to a point like this. Thank you. That's a comment.
All right, thank you. Any other comments on this motion or discussion? Okay, I'm going to call for the vote. That's defeated. Councillor Kreviak?
Yeah, thank you very much. I want to make motion number 2, that it's be, number 2. Thank you.
Okay, I'll wait for it to come up.
So if there's a chance it'll be done later this year, fine. And if the engineering isn't done, well, it'll be done in the spring. At least we have a chance to get it done this year. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councillor Kreviak, for making this motion. The council approves an unbudgeted expenditure in the amount of $1,700,000 for the replacement of bridge file 72749 to be funded from the Bridge Reserve Fund. Any discussion?
So the same motion.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, I'll call for the vote. Okay, that's carried. Thank you.
Thank you, Council.
On to 9.5.1.
Thank you, Council. Today we have the Chief Administration Officer appointment. The MD of Bonneville has entered into employment agreement with Mr. Ben Berlingette in the position of Chief Administration Officer with a start date of February 3rd, 2025. In accordance with the Municipal Government Act, the MDCAO bylaw number 1120, and MDCAO amending bylaw 1329, council must appoint Mr. Berlingette to the position by resolution. Council must also grant him designated officer signing authority for the municipality by resolution. So attached for council's review is the Appendix A, which is both bylaw 1120 and amending bylaw number 1329. Reference to provincial federal legislation is Alberta Government or Municipal Government Act, RSA 2000 under M26. Communication strategy, the media release was issued by the MD on January 7th announcing 2025, announcing the new CAO appointment, and then council's recommendation.
Okay, someone like to make a motion?
I'd like the motion to approve.
Oh, okay, good enough. Thank you, Deputy Reeves Garson, for making this motion. The council hereby appoints Ben Berlingette as the Chief Administrative Officer for the MD of Bonneville number 87, effective February 3rd, 2025, and that such duties of his position shall be in accordance with the Municipal Government Act and Municipality CAO bylaw number 1120 as amended, and the position description, and furthermore that Ben Berlingette be authorized to act as a designated signing officer for the Municipal District of Bonneville number 87, effective February 3rd, 2025. Any discussion on this motion? Good. Yes, Councillor Swigert.
Yeah, just, it's interesting that bylaw 1120 is a super old one. And I will eventually update that, I guess, right? Is that what we're kind of looking at? 1995 is pretty old. You can just tell by the formatting and stuff too, but, so we'll eventually kind of have a new one?
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. That's carried, thank you. We're going to take a 5-minute break. Welcome back. We're going to go on to number 10, correspondence and information.
Thank you, council. We do have a full list of correspondence, starting with 10.1 is the November check registry. If there's any questions, you can ask administration regarding that. Next, we have 10.2. So this is a letter coming back from the RCMP commanding officer, following up our meeting from the RMA conference back in November in Edmonton. So council did have some concerns about vacancy rates within our detachments in our area. They did, the RCMP did feel that they are adequately with officers here, but we do have a little higher vacancy rate. So they felt that with more officers coming out of depot, that they'd be filled up. We did have a policing committee this week that we still do have quite a few vacancies in both detachments, so still a concern. We did also talk to the RCMP about funding, and also we talked to Rick McIver with municipal affairs regarding that. So if there's any questions on that. Next, we have 10.3, letter from Vermilion River, council appointments. Next, 10.4, so this is the response letter from Alberta Municipal Affairs following up our meeting from the RMA conference. One of our issues, or what we've brought back to that meeting, was, again, RCMP funding coming from ID 349. Also talking about cooperation, and we did ask about bridge funding. We were directed back to Transport Minister and Economic Corridors for any funding to talk to them. So again, it doesn't look like there's much for funding for bridges out there, but we did bring it up to municipal affairs. If there's anything else from that, 10.6 in correspondence, there is a survey from Leica that if council would like to do. 10.7, email from Federation of Canadian Municipalities. This is a response letter from our letter to them, expressing our concerns to FCM regarding more rural voice, that they're maybe having a little bit too much urban and not having enough rural voice for us. After that, there is an email from 10.8, email from 8-6 Cancer. So this is a charity hockey game invitation and puck drop. So there is a request to council if we could attend that. So if council does have the Reeve or Deputy Reeve would like to attend.
Yeah, I already made provisions with this. I've been a part of this since they started. I got stuck in Haiti last year, so I couldn't attend, but my family attended. Yeah, we're another thing that's happening at this hockey game. Me and the mayor of Cold Lake are going head on head during one of the intermissions. We're going to do a shootout. So right now I'm challenging you, Mayor. I'll wear a City of Cold Lake shirt in one of my meetings if I lose, and I'm challenging you to wear a MD of Bonneville shirt if I'm successful. But when I was talking to him this morning, we were both going to be checking our skates in case our rivets are rotten in our skates. So we have about as much practice as shooting a puck as, a cow. So not a lot of practice lately, but I'm going to get out on the ice to shoot a few pucks around. And he said he's going to go do some public skating. So we're going to check our equipment out. So that's one thing that's happening that night. Another great cancer thing that's happening in our area. I can't say enough. I also I'm part of the Haying in the 30s. I'm a director there now, so pretty proud of that. They asked me to join there, and so this is another Haying in the 30s, and now we have this 86 cancers taken off. This young McGully and his team are a bunch of great people from the Cold Lake area that are doing this, and if any of us can attend, that'd be a great thing, and looking forward to doing this in the end of January. Thanks. Okay, so next we have 10.10. So this is a letter from the County of Stettler
to the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, and they, in the letter, they are withdrawing their memberships, to echo the non-rural voice that they feel that they're not having. Next would be 10.12. So this is an email coming from Fort Wayne Cold Lake in regards to the air show this summer and thanking us for the support. And then 10.14 is an email coming back from Fort Wayne saying that they were awarded award for having the air show and the support that they did. So that was, they were celebrated for that, so.
Yes, oh, sorry.
On,
Councilor Fadil.
on that part, can we send a letter to Fort Wayne congratulating them on their award?
That's a great idea.
Acceptance, and
Okay.
yeah, they, you know, man, what a tough position to be in. They did all that work to get smoked out for about 5 minutes of performance. It's, yeah, we need to keep encouraging them. Thank you.
Yes, administration can do that. Draft that up for the Reeve. We do have other Christmas letters to council. Another one is 10.18, so this is an email coming from the Bonnyville Junior Pontiacs. So it's an invitation to their 3rd annual Victor Ringette Sportsman's Dinner. So if there's any interest to attend that. I would think so, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Councilor Fadil.
For the Victor Ringette, we need is it by a table or is it by ticket? Do we know?
Let's just check. to see if
They're
there's-
probably eight.
Last year we went, we got a table of 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to do the same thing,
I think
Councilor
so.
Fadil?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Okay, thank you.
We had a table of 8.
You wanna commit now, who's gonna go?
Yep.
Yeah.
February 28th.
February 28th?
Yeah. We'll wait for this motion to come up and then we'll make the motion and then we'll discuss who's going. Okay, thank you, Councillor Fadil, for making this motion. The council approves purchase of a table of 8 to the 3rd annual Victor Ringette Sportsman Dinner to be held on February 28th, 2025 at the cost of $800 to be funded from the 2025 council public relation budget. Any discussion on this, gentlemen? Yes, turn your mic on. Yep, Deputy Reeves Carson?
I don't know if we want to maybe consider 2 tables. Do you want to take a head count first? Because the new CEO would probably want to go too, I would imagine.
Okay. Is that okay with you, Councilor Fadil, that we take a hit? Okay. Who would like to go to this? Raise of hands, so 1, 2.
Everyone.
Okay, I think we're gonna need 2 tables.
Okay.
You're okay to amend your motion, Councilor Fadil? Okay, we're just gonna amend that to 16. Two tables of 8, awesome. Any other discussion? Okay, I'll call for the vote. Mine didn't come up on the screen, so I'm in favor. All those in favor?
You voted.
Carried. Okay, thanks.
Okay.
You're good?
So, yeah, if the council has any other comments.
Any questions or someone likes to make a motion on correspondence? Counselor Slipchuk?
Yeah, I just wanna ask about 10.13, if any of other councils going to that, investing in Alberta workforce, it's in Edmonton.
Oh,
Pardon me?
So currently, right now, I did touch base with Scott this morning. So right now, Scott will be attending and Councillor Slipchuk, but if there is any other people interested.
Councillor
Yeah,
Fadeo?
if at all possible, I would love to go.
Okay. Yes, I believe the registration is still open, so,
Okay, if you can make it work.
yeah.
Okay, that'd be great. Okay, thank you for bringing that up, Councillor Slipchuk. Any other? Councillor Fadeo?
Yeah, I'd like to make the motion.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'd like to make the motion to accept all this as correspondence. But I guess during discussion here, I'm very disappointed and surprised not to see a letter from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to Josh Crick about the budget does not balance itself, the comment that he made at FCM Calgary. So sorry about that.
It's number 20. All right, thank you, Councillor Fadeo, for your motion and cheering us up there. That council accepts the following correspondence as information 1 through 19. Any discussion on this? Okay, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. That's carried, thank you. On to council action reports. Whoever wants to start, go ahead. Councillor Fadeo. Oh, 1 second, I didn't turn you on again. Councillor Fadeo.
Yeah, thanks. Everybody's trying to regroup here for the new year, but FCSS, we had a meeting. It was great there. Great to see some great numbers coming out of there. Some of the noteworthy, so volunteer hours, they had a total of 1,525 from the Coal Lake area. They also had family connections of 2,834. It's been a busy, extremely busy year for them. Patrons served, including wards 5 and 6, for 5,200 people. And we're looking for the ride here. I didn't circle it, but yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's good. And then Cherry Grove had their AGM yesterday, and I got asked for their lawn tractor races, and they had over 600 people last year, and there's a bunch of other ones coming up around the area, around the Lakeland area. So there's about 5 or 6 communities that are doing lawn tractor races, so it's starting to pick up, and it's going to be great to see a little more competition between the communities with that. They're going to hold a few more smaller races in between, but the big one's still happen at the end of August, so it was good.
We're going to have a Councillor Fadeo lawnmower in the event this year?
Unless mine dies, maybe, but yeah, there's some pretty serious.
Yeah, they go,
there.
eh?
Yeah, so a buddy of mine there has put a sled engine and his little racer, and he's lowered it all up, and yeah, he tough to beat him.
I know Dynamo gave us one for a men's event once, and man, you gotta hold on to those things. They really go.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
So.
Who's next?
BMD should have one of the three.
I think, and we'll put Dana on it. Councillor Kraviak.
Thank you. I just had the Bonneville Library Board meeting. Nothing much to report there. The new manager is fitting in well. And yesterday we had a police committee meeting. The Bonneville RCMP had 683 files in November, and 188 were traffic related. And there's still 3 vacancies at the constable rank. Cold Lake had 869 occurrences from December 9th to January 13th. And they currently have 4 hard vacancies and 3 soft. And, well, lots of issues and stuff, so they're very, very busy. Thank you. That's about it.
Thank you. Deputy Reeve Scarson.
So just have a couple notes on the BRFA, and they did a bit of restructuring there, but the one thing they did was create a new role It's called the, oh, I just had it, where is it? It's called the Regional Chief of Emergency Services. And Elisa Krawchuk has been appointed to that. They want to really kind of have it as a one unit, so that it includes all the emergency services, instead of having segregated units. And so they'll be moving to their new building here starting next week, I think. And I think they're going to have everything kind of finished, like everything, they're permanently moved by the end of summer or beginning of fall. And the one thing that they did came up with as well was that they've actually named the building. They had a little contest, I guess, internally, and so now the building that they will be referring to as North Star. And so the North Star is significant. This is why they had it. One girl sent it in after conversation with her son, and in her words, the North Star is significant as it is often referred to as a star that does not move. I feel that emergency services act as an immovable force that will always be present to guide and help in all times. In wayfinding, people look to the North Star, and when people in the community need direction or help, they look to us. So that's where they came up with the name. So and that's about it.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Crick?
He had a BRFA meeting in December there, and as far as this year goes, all I've had so far was FCSS in town here had a men's mental health night, and I was one of the judges for tasting wings. So nothing too complicated yet, but they got a lot of meetings coming up this week. That's it. There was maybe about 12, something like that. Yeah, 12 guys showed up, so it was a good turnout. Yeah, at the Legion here in town. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. Councillor Swaggart?
Attended the Cold Lake Regional Utility Service Commission meeting. And then just kind of, while they're doing, of course, they're making good progress on their new septic system, sewage treatment facility outside of Cold Lake. And so if you're driving down Highway 55 toward Cherry Grove, you see it on the right-hand side. They're just kind of not too far past the intersection of 55 and 28, but tons of cement being poured. It's a big facility, like a $30 million facility. So I kind of talk a little bit about septic. So at our last meeting, there's a bylaw with fees and whatnot. And so they've increased the dumping fees or tipping fees for septic to $100 a load. And when I got on that committee a few years ago, it was $50 a load. So I guess I'm just making a point, and I told them I wasn't entirely in favor of increasing that because residents in the MD are really affected by that. Sort of half the MD gets hauled to Cold Lake, the other half to Bonnyville. But anyway, it's $100 a load now, which I'm not sure. I guess we still have to think about what we're doing in the MD for septic hauling, and maybe it's working now, maybe it isn't, but it's a big investment for Cold Lake. I'm not sure what's happening in Bonnyville. I'm not sure what, we had some discussion, 6 months or a year ago about how we could help out. And I think we're doing a little bit there, so. The other one was Municor Iron Horse Trail. There's a bit of talk about them working with Lara and Leica on the staging area at Fort Kent. There's a little fish pond at Fort Kent there and a gazebo thing, and Lara wants to make that the official staging area, so they're going to sort of raise some funds and try to put in sort of a bigger parking area and update the fish pond a bit and do some riparian work around it with Leica and put a small bridge across a little spot there and have a walking trail around that pond, so make it a nicer area so when people come by on their quads or whatever they're doing, walking or biking or whatever, they can stop in at that spot. So they actually may reach out to the MD just to see if there's any, if the MD can help with any kind of funding for a walking trail or a bridge or something at that area. The next, and then Municor, they're struggling with funding, they always have. When the Trestle Bridge burnt down years ago, There was a cash call out to all the municipalities, and basically most municipalities kind of supported it, but a lot of the comments from a lot of the municipalities were, well, you have lots of money because you had sold siding. So that's how they made their money. They sold siding lands in most of the communities, and they had a couple million in the bank. So that's almost gone now because of that trestle bridge burning. And so they're gonna maybe run out of money soon, and I told them to come up with an estimate of how much money they need and when they're gonna be broke, basically, because they run at a deficit every year, which you can't kind of carry on. So what was the next one here? Oh, then the Riverland Recreational Trail Group, who kind of manages that trail, met last night, and they talked about brushing the trail. They came up with a new cutter that they use to brush it, and so they're doing that themselves, and that's working well. I guess a bit of a comment. It's a tougher one though, because the section through the First Nations Reserve, it's always kind of a touchy subject because I guess we're having issues just trying to communicate with the First Nations to get it cleared and that sort of thing. But now there's signs up on the trail that First Nations has put up saying no trespassing. And so on either end of the section through Cold Lake First Nations, there's signs saying no trespassing. So I'm not sure what that means, and Municorp is going to try to sort it out. Anyway, that's it. Thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Slipchik?
Yeah, Dana pretty well covered the Iron Horse Trail meeting, but there was a thing also, they're looking for those staging areas for a donation, maybe a couple of picnic tables, if that's something we could maybe look at, if that's possible, we could do. Because I know we do make picnic tables at the center. And the only other thing it did was Malanka dancers on Saturday. It was a good turnout. It was a very enjoyable show. And it was nice to see the community, different cultures. And also to Mr. Bespalko, there I see he's wearing a wonderful Ukrainian shirt today, and happy Ukrainian New Year's to everyone.
Thank you. Pretty well everybody covered the stuff that I was at. I was Santa Claus a couple times in the MD, so that was pretty fun with the kids. There's the ones that are just terrified of you, and the next one that they want to sit on you for the whole event. So it's pretty good. It's very fun. All right, thank you. Looking for a motion to go in camera or closed session. Thank you, Councillor Kraviak. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you.